Now we're good. Now we're back. Oh man, it's so weird. I was only away. I was away for only a little bit over a month, and my logo's missing and everything. No big deal, but it's so weird. I only shut off the PC, so I wouldn't think anything would go missing, but it did. Hopefully, thank you guys for your patience. There we go. Gotta activate some of these streams here. Hopefully the whole chat is working right. I did get it up and running. Connecting to, but it seems like it's acting a bit slow in certain aspects. Oh, I know what it is. I know exactly what it is. Go back here. Now it should come up with no issue. Hopefully everybody has been doing well. I'm glad I got this up and running now. Apologize for everyone for the rough morning. That's probably one of the most rough mornings I had. I can't believe how much trouble I actually had with the Elgato cam link. Usually it works right away, but of course, I guess there was some sort of weird issue there. And I'm working on the vertical live. It's working on connecting now. Let me just double check this setting here. Make sure it's all good. It's so odd. It's saying it's loading, but I know I do got it. But I hope everyone has been doing great. Yes, it finally works. Yeah. Always ends up working that way. Tech Guy having some issues. And it really had to do, more than likely it has to do with these massive updates. And the funny thing is I had to restart my PC. When I restarted the PC, it ends up having a Windows update. How wonderful. A Windows update could really hold back a stream. Hopefully, these builds are getting together. I actually, the AMD build, remember the AMD build that I have with the RX 9070 XT? I'm actually going to be sending that out. So now we're going to be starting pretty much all fresh again. Oh, if you have any specific things that you would like to see, let me know. I saw that ASUS came out with a ton of different new products. And if you're not looking into ASUS, I know Gigabyte has some interesting products as well. We also got that Gigabyte motherboard still sitting here in the back, kind of collecting dust because I don't really feel like building a Intel build because, let's face it, the processor has been underperforming. But I'm curious if Intel will start to bring their big guns like once it comes into September, since they will come out with, hopefully not another refresh, but they will be coming out with something new. So let me just check one more thing. Let's see if this vertical live is in action. And it does not want to. You know what I'm going to have to do with that one? I'm going to have to reconnect that one. Just the vertical. Don't worry for the guys that are on the horizontal live. Were they a Gigabyte? Yes. There is actually a new GPU coming. But I always put that. It's just kind of just to bring you in. But there is a new GPU coming. They do have the, if you guys haven't heard, they have the R9700. And more than likely, it's not going to attract everybody out there. But for those who are into LLMs, for those who are into building AI models. That will be releasing sometime soon. It's around marketed around like 11 to 1200 USD. Intel is also going to be bringing in their GPUs as well. And if you're interested in building, again, AI models, that one's a 48 gigabyte model. Now the AMD one, the R9700, is actually only 32 gigabytes, and I'm only saying only. So if you're thinking you want to use it for gaming, more than likely you're probably not going to be. It's not going to be very useful in that aspect, because with that GPU, it's not going to have the ray tracing cores that you're looking for, or it might not have it might not have certain settings that you're looking for. It won't be able to game if that's what you're trying to pull out of the GPU, as they're more designed for workflow purposes. Now, it's great for those who want to use it for, say, like video editing and everything. It can be useful on that side, but it's going to be more useful, again, on the AI element, as this is a big thing that they're pushing. I believe AI development will continue to multiply largely. RX 9070 XT is certainly still the best. I agree with you. I agree with you with the RX 9070 XT being the best budget GPU. Sorry. And simply, I missed all the tech news when I was in Japan. Didn't watch all the stuff. Yeah, it's nothing really incredible. It's more or so that they are coming out with new iterations, such as the RTX 5090. They are coming out with a matrix. ASUS teased that. A Gigabyte actually came out with this board, which is pretty dope. I wanted to get it while I was in Taiwan, too, matter of fact. If you bought the motherboard, it actually came with a floor mat, like a big Gigabyte floor mat. I would love to show you guys. I got to introduce you to another guy that's also from Taiwan, and that's where I found it at. And they have so many unique promos there. I even wanted to buy that Toy Story build. You can actually buy it. Now, you can't buy if you guys saw the live stream when I was in Taiwan, there was a Toy Story build. And it had it's everything decked out with Toy Story. It's like the PC is, the GPU, the motherboard, the cooler, everything you think of. But they didn't have the 100% full components. They had most of it, but if you were to build it, it was like close to almost 3,000 USD. And you're talking about $3,000 USD for a build that's going to be it's a decent build. Don't get me wrong. It'll be built with a RTX. I think it was an RTX 5080, that the Buzz Lightyear edition it was called. I think it was. I just upgraded to the 9070 XT from the 7900 XT, and just yesterday found a killer deal on the 5090. Just for 2400, had to pull the trigger. Now, I had 7600, 7900 XT, and 9070 XT to do builds with and sell them. Well, actually, I gotta say it's a pretty good time. I'm not sure if everyone has heard the whole crazy debacle when it came to Battlefield 6. I have actually, right when I get back, I hear a lot of news about it. If you guys, hopefully you guys played it. Let me know if you guys played Battlefield 6. I heard great things about it. I've heard that people are running into issues because of a TPM problem. Now, the TPM issue is actually causing a lot of people, like a mass influx of people, to actually either start building or purchasing PCs, because you have a lot of PCs out there that are still on Windows 10. And that is a large issue on Battlefield's side, because it seems like now it's like kind of forcing people to upgrade to another PC. There's going to, I know for sure that I haven't really got to look over on Battlefield 6 quite yet. I did download it. I'm ready to play. And let me know if you guys are ready to play, because also make sure to go to the Discord channel, as we are also on there. It's also in the description box. I can paste the Discord link. I'm a little bit kind of out of coordination because I gotta find that, you know what? I can find that invite. Like, once I do, I'll just send it through the chat. But, anyway, Battlefield 6, There is a open live beta that you can currently play throughout the whole weekend. It opened up Thursday, and it's also opened up before on last week if you had the code to be able to play Battlefield 6. Some of the people who had the code ran into the issue of having a TPM issue. So some motherboards don't have it, and without it, you can't play it. And there are some settings in there that you will have to modify on your motherboard in order for you to play Battlefield 6. Now, who knows if that's going to be the same way with the full finished copy of Battlefield 6. There will be some sort, I'm 100% sure, there will be a workaround for it. And because I can't see that really lasting as long. But do you... Oh, how is it though? I gotta know how the mechanics are. So I saw the ASUS Hatsune yeah, that is awesome. I would love to see that. Oh yes, it was nice. Yes, I had problems starting with the game, not because of TPM 2.0, but the save boot by my motherboard. Isn't it interesting that a game can cause all this? This is like the first time I've actually heard a game causing issues from the BIOS level. Typically, that doesn't really happen. I can't really even recall any games that were having issues like from the BIOS level, which is kind of a really unique problem, I think. I'm sure it pissed off a lot of people, I would imagine, especially for those who were planning to hold on to their builds and how expensive everything is getting. And I gotta say, how about Nvidia coming out with another RTX 5090? But they're coming out not for the U.S. region or for the European region or really the Asian Pacific, except for China. How they're coming out with a 5090D. Now this 5090 double D, as we know it as, this is going to be even. This is also pretty funny too, because remember how they were coming out with a GPU for the 5090 over in China. Instead, that they're going to come out with a different variation of it, but it's only going to be 24 gigabytes, and they still had to pay full price on the product. On top of it, but it will have the full CUDA cores in there, the 21,000 CUDA cores that are practically in there. But if you get the other variation, you can get the 32 gigabyte model, but you won't get the full amount of CUDA cores. So talk about double D. So yes, the secure boot, thanks to LSG. I think Battlefield needs a little bit more compass update. The game doesn't give much FPS. Oh, really? So it doesn't really run as smooth, you feel? So let me just check this other stream real quick. I gotta fix this one. I don't know what the deal with this one is. I have a vertical stream going too, but let me turn that off real quick. Just a vertical one, because it's not even connected. And then I will turn it back on. There we go. Now, hopefully, I apologize for anyone that is trying to watch the vertical version of it. Seems YouTube isn't really connecting to it, or doesn't want to connect to it. Weird issue. But yeah, a 24 gigabyte RTX 5090. Can you believe that in 2025? But I mean, and then on top of it, if you guys haven't heard, that AMD and Nvidia, if they do sell any of their products over in China, they also will have to pay 15% of their profit to the US. So if they do sell any of their products, they're just practically, the US is going to make profit off of it as well. And that's because, again, it kind of confused me too, because originally I thought they didn't want to do a big deal with the whole, with giving any type of real chipsets to China for obvious reasons. But I always thought that was a funny case. ASUS also came out with this other BTF board. They did come out with the X870E BTF, which is pretty insane. They also came out with, I think Intel is also trying to come out with their Battle Mage card too as well. That is something that has always been in talks. about their new not really replacement, but a new kind of like how would I say, another tier for Intel, and that's something that they can certainly improve on. Hopefully that it does do very well on that side. But I do have to say, the funny thing is that there was a promo that was going on, and somebody in Discord actually brought this up, which is pretty funny. And they actually sent me the link to it, which was that they were linking Z890 motherboards. Now this was a Gigabyte promo that they were doing, and this was at Best Buy. I don't really think it was Best Buy that I don't think it was Gigabyte's fault for this. I think it was probably Best Buy, but they were advertising for the Z890 that if you purchase a Gigabyte Z890, you can pick up a 14th generation CPU with it. They were bundles with the Z890. Now tell me what you hear that's wrong with this picture. Tell me what you hear that's wrong with this bundle. You're getting a Z890, keyword Z890, with a 14th generation Intel, with a Raptor Lake refresh practically. Yeah, yes. And the 5090 Astral BTF. I really want to do a BTF build. I would love to do one. And but the only thing is, in order to do a BTF build, you also have to be careful of the type of case that you get. So with this, I'm gonna do then what I will do. Okay, for some reason YouTube does not want to start this vertical live. Let me go in here, make sure it's in the correct settings. It is. I'll just delete that one, and I'll just start a new one. For them, at least. So, I just got the 14900K practically free for buying the Z890. Oh, so did you get that package through Best Buy? It's pretty funny though. I gotta say, for the most part. I think it is pretty funny that they did that. Oh, yeah. If you guys could see, like on my screen here, you can see YouTube's having issues with this whole vertical live. They're freaking out. Probably because of how I've been going back and on, just like confusing the whole YouTube server here. Alright, so I'm going to try to create a new one. Hopefully this doesn't give any issues. Next. Alright. So, yep, go into pair it with the 9070 XT. Yeah, that's insane. So that's how you got it. That's funny. That's actually a good mix right there. That's not a bad idea. I mean, how does the marketing people do that? I saw the BTF styles coming more and more now. Gigabyte showed also their line. I saw their GPU. When I knew that, I had to change to get it. I get it. I really do, because just imagine, like, just having to build it just looks straight up clean. You don't see any type of wires. And it has to be so much easier to work on, because you don't have to kind of route the wires into the front of the PC. Or you don't have to kind of figure how you can be kind of discreet with the wires as well when it comes to I'm going to try to connect to the vertical. Let's see if I can get it to happen. Man, YouTube is just killing me today. That and OBS. I don't know what the deal is. My Discord's probably going crazy because I also have the new alerts too, like when there's a new stream coming up. So it's probably has all these like streams that keep popping up on there. But for some reason, it doesn't seem like it does not want to pick up on this vertical live. Yeah. Yes. Just like the GPU. And I gotta say too, it's kind of like a, I can't wait to send out the PC, this PC, because I know the funny thing is it's that same exact reason, that the reason why I'm sending out this PC, it's to a friend of mine's, and again, he's has a Ryzen, I think it was a Ryzen third. He's still in the Ryzen 3000 series when it comes to his PC. Doesn't even have like TPM or anything on it. So I know it's something that you can really use, because that's exactly what he's been trying to play. He didn't have the key for Battlefield 6, so he tried to play it when it became open beta, and therefore he ran into the same issue. Other people that I know, again, when it came to Battlefield 6, they all ran to either Best Buy or Micro Center trying to either do some build kits, or that they're trying to figure a way to get a PC. And then you even have people thinking of trying to get a console. And I do warn the people that are who are thinking of getting a PS5 or an Xbox, which I do get, because again, you can't really beat the price on a console. But I do let them know that in the long run, they will come out with a new version. You can get PlayStation 5 now, or you can get Xbox Series X now, but in 2 years' time, they're going to come out with a new one. And by then, you're going to kind of regret that purchase, because then you have to buy a whole other console. But then again, that's a whole different argument, I know, when it comes to the whole PC and console realm. But I do have to say, if you are coming from a console and thinking of coming to PC, just do it. It's a great thing to do. It's one of the best things you can honestly do. So, oh, there's Leland. Yeah, the 3600. Because I remember you were on I remembered you were on the 3000 series, on Ryzen 3000 series. Well, consoles, I could certainly see it. I could see consoles reaching up to $1,000 eventually, especially when it comes to the newer consoles. The reason being, because you take a look on the PS5 Pro, you're reaching about $750. That's sure, it's not 1,000 yet, but they don't mention that the fact that you do have to also purchase the stand that comes with it if you want to stand it up horizontally. You have to purchase a stand, which is like another, I think it was like another, what was it, like $30 for that stand. And then on top of it, it doesn't have an optical drive. So if you do want to get the optical drive, you have to purchase the expansion to it, which was like, I think another $90, I think it was. And then altogether, that's close to almost like a PC. It's almost like about a little bit over 800, like 850. Maybe no, 890 actually. It was around that price range, but it pretty much can get you close to a PC at that point. But let me see. I want to strangle YouTube right now because this whole vertical live does not want to connect. I have no idea. Let me check this canvas out here. Make sure that's correct. I keep checking these settings. It seems good. CMSUE. And yeah, bright settings. And I really don't want to, because it just keeps, that's funny, because it keeps saying this has this loading screen. And see if I can get into the setting here, because I feel bad for these. It's funny, it connected with no problem earlier when it came to, oh, I know. Let me try it. What I will do, let's go into the settings now for it. Let me just try to create a new stream instead and see if that works better. Maybe that'll work. Because at this point, it's this one. Right, vertical. All right, I'll try it one more time. A new stream for them, because they haven't got to see anything. My sister got the Switch 2 for around $330 Swiss francs. That's almost like 410. That's actually a pretty good deal for me, and that's almost a bargain in Japan. Because in Japan, I know you can purchase. Yes, Wasabi. Thanks. I just saw that. Thanks a lot, Wasabi, for that. Good to see you. Yes, I am officially back in action. I got. Oh man, yeah. It's. I hear Battlefield 6 is relentless. I've heard different things about it. Like, I heard people running into different things, like using the tanks. And there was weird issues. Like, somebody, I guess, bombed a tank. And I was told this one. And when they bombed the tank, they ended up, like, sinking through the map. Like, for, like, almost like an infinite loop. Which is pretty insane. And, but I heard, like, the mechanics are really good. Like, how they have, like, not only just the small field, but they also have like a medium and large field. You can go up to 64 players, which is nice. And I'm curious if they do come out with the full version, could they even expand on top of it? Because that was always Battlefield's big thing, was having such a large group of players playing against each other. Because I'm sure you guys remember such as games such as like Battlefield 3, like where you would run through like these like corridors almost and just like constantly like murking each other trying to like get through. It was wild, like throwing the grenades. It actually felt like you were in the battle suit. But I heard great things about Battlefield 6, and I certainly hope that it does bring in a lot of bring in a lot more gamers to it, because I feel that we need competition, especially for something against like Call of Duty. And one of the biggest things that I do like about Battlefield is not only the vehicles that you can personally drive, but it's the fact that there's actually a building destruction. That was my big thing that I really missed, was like the whole building destruction. If somebody's sniping you from a building, you could easily just use a rocket launcher or use whatever. You could crash into the building and it would literally collapse. One map had graphical issues. I haven't played online FPS since Battlefield 1. I missed that. I remember Battlefield 1. That was actually a great game. I am getting old. I get it. Sometimes it gets really competitive, especially now. And it almost seems like everybody that is going to game online is trying to be some sort of streamer. And so they get even more competitive because of that. They're trying to be the best. As I will try to start up a new stream for the verticals people out here instead, and I think that would work out better for you guys. I think there is something holding it back for some weird reason. There we go. I always get killed, but I don't know from which. That's the thing about Battlefield. It's like, especially when you're out in an open field, it's insane. And sometimes it takes you a minute to get to like the location that you're going to. So you could be like running down like a mountainside, and then as you're running, you're thinking like you're getting towards the center, like where the action is practically. Whether it's some sort of like smaller city or like a town, and by the time you even get close, you get sniped. And there's somebody just waiting out there in the open, just trying to take you down. All right, so let's check this out here. Hopefully that vertical. Okay, I think that did something. Yeah, it seems like the verticals are having issues. Oh, wait a minute. I know. I should have. You know what? I messed that one up for these, and just give it a minute before I went back. So I apologize for all the vertical people out there. They probably keep seeing these streams pop up, but it's not. They're all not working. Story mode is goated. I wish it lasted. Oh, really? So you can play story on Battlefield. That was something that I've been wanting to do too. Is like I really miss the story side of it too. They had, especially. Did you guys play Battlefield Bad 2? Battlefield 2, Bad Company. I felt like the story on that was great. That was like during the whole Vietnam era. That was, and it had great maps to it too. It was online mode was also great on it, and that was also one of the maps where it was again they had those large, vast maps when it came to multiplayer, and anytime you run the side of like it was like desert mountains you would run through, and you would get to an area to where it almost looked like a navy base. That's where you could easily get like end up like getting sniped or something. No. Yes, it's very nice. Never did go with that story further. I forgot that didn't finish. But Battlefield 1, not Battlefield. Oh, okay, okay. I was gonna say, yeah, they have to have the story Battlefield 6. I was gonna say, did they go all out to where they had a story mode on beta? That's going hard. I would say like Battlefield is getting real serious if that's the case. Story of Lawrence of Arabia was interesting. I wish they went deeper into it. Yeah, yeah, it's and that's the thing. It's like that was like one of those key experiences that you really miss when you play first-person shooters. And it wasn't that you would just go into multiplayer. That's what it almost became now. It's like they don't really care about the story mode anymore, and they just focus on the multiplayer. But now it almost seems like that's making a slow comeback. Like people are slowly getting the whole story side of it. I know people want to be able to sit back and just relax, enjoy the game for what it is, and hopefully, Battlefield 6 does bring a great story. I do expect great things from it because the thing is, I've also heard that Battlefield 6 they've been running it on um, uh, some systems that haven't been like the top tier, and they've been also running just as good. I, I wish that Battlefield 1 had more story of the rest of the world and not only just heavy related. I I get it. I do get it because when it comes to that, it's just like they're very key. They get key focus on like a certain part of the war, a certain war, and hopefully they can highlight different aspects of it. But I do get what you're saying, Takuma, for sure. Okay, hopefully that worked. We will find out. It just keeps saying upcoming. That's terrible for you guys out there. On I don't know what's going on with YouTube on that side with the whole vertical side. It was working earlier, so I don't know if the whole vertical lives are having issues. I'm doing everything I can to get it to work for you guys. But I am excited though that let me go on here actually. There's a guy I like to follow. He's on Twitter. His name is Unico, and Unico he's also from Taiwan as well. And he has a great site. I gotta send you his link. I highly recommend checking him out too, which I will send here. Call of Duty on the Prime, Modern Warfare, Modern Warfare 2, Black Ops. You know, I was introduced to something of, speaking of Call of Duty, I was introduced to something that was like it plays the original OG Call of Duty, but they put all the maps together. And it's something on Discord. Once I get more information about it, I will send it to you guys because I've heard a lot of great things about that too. It's almost like a fan base Modern Warfare, but they just put everything into one, kind of like a Modern Warfare combo of 1, 2, and 3, but of the original. I started recording the playthrough series of Space Marine 2. I've uploaded the first 2 episodes, but had some major issues with the graphics. Oh no. What's happening with the graphics on Space Marines 2? I know I've heard great things about Space Marines 2. That's also a game that I have to play through. Oh, and you guys remember how I was telling you that I was playing through Elden Ring 2? So I did manage to get through that whole Draconian Knight, and again, it took me a minute to beat him. And the funny thing is, I ended up getting as far. I passed the capital. I'm now onto the whole the giant mountain side, like where all the giants are. And I've been right now. I'm in like one of the caves where I'm having trouble with fighting this one guy where he where I gotta fight, what is it, like both of them? I forget his name, but he's practically, you fight him earlier in the game where you fight him in the witch village, but you gotta fight him again, like the ghost version of him, and his other one, but yeah, I can't remember his name. They call him something the Lord was his second form, but you have to fight him twice, which is kind of annoying. I'm just curious what the prize is like when you finish fighting him in the cave. Yeah, the gods can do it. That's it. That's exactly who I'm going through. Oh my god. It's funny too because it's like I get him as far as down as I beat the first one, usually no problem. It's like once I get to the second one, he gives me issues because it's like you're still trying to maintain your health from the first battle at times, and you have to watch that roll. That roll is annoying as hell, I gotta say, for the most part. Yes, that's exactly it, the spirited version. So it's like you know, in the back of the cave where you have like you barely have anything there. It's just like you're fighting like almost like in shallow water in that back of the cave. It's like I just run through the cave for the most part just to get to fight him. It's just a pain that you have to run to him practically every time in order to uh to to battle him. It doesn't drop you off right before the yellow veil. So usually, again, you run through that cave in order just to go ahead and fight him. So I'm trying to beat that guy. Yeah, he's a pain. He's a big pain. Him and it's funny though. I've fought like every other boss though. I gotta say, like after the Draconian Knight hasn't been as difficult, at least I can say. But there has been some difficult ones that I did fight. I think I'm pretty much through most of it. And I was just speaking on somebody about Night Rain, and he said that he finally beat the game of Night Rain. He's been through the first one. He's been through Night Rain, but he says that Night Rain doesn't really have a replayability factor like the original Elden Ring, which I thought was interesting because it really relies heavily on multiplayer when it comes to Night Rain. But let's take a look at some stuff here, actually. There is... Let's go to video cards. Get on video cards real quick. And I forgot about this. You know what? Speaking of tech, like you see how they got this whole GPD Win 5, the first handheld with AMD Strix Halo. So video cards brought this up, which makes me think of the ASUS ROG Ally Xbox. They're ASUS ROG Ally. I can't always get this name right because it's an odd name. ASUS ROG Ally X Xbox X, I think it is. That handheld PC is going to be close to $1,000, which is pretty insane. It's high end, and something like this I think is going to be around the same price range. And this actually looks pretty decent. So the GPD Win 5. Yes, it's a big mouthful. And let me share the screen. Hopefully OBS doesn't freak out again when I start sharing my browser here. But there we go. Yay. It worked okay. So here it is, the GPD Win 5. This actually looks pretty decent. And it actually gives 16 Zen 5 cores and an 8060X ASUS Xbox X Ally XX. I'm just curious to see what the performance level difference is. I'm going to try my best in order to get one, and I will compare it with the original ASUS ROG Ally. And I gotta say, throughout the whole the flight, I did enjoy playing the ASUS ROG Ally, even though I had to make sure it was plugged in most of the time, because again, the most I can get out of it, like after really heavy playthrough like that, was like, especially because I wasn't going light on it. I was going on full performance mode. Even though like I know I could drop these settings to just get more battery life, but knowing that I have an outlet right there, why would I do that? I just wanted to enjoy the game at full maximum capacity, and I was playing Elden Ring the whole time throughout the flight, which was nice. And I played it on the ASUS ROG Ally, and I got like about probably like 40 to 45 minutes out of use, because again, I was maxing out my GPU, maxing out the CPU in it, practically the APU in it. And it was great nevertheless. So I want to see how much of an improvement the ASUS ROG Xbox Ally XX X whatever, when that releases, I want to see how much of an improvement that is. More necessarily, I would want to see a better improvement in battery, because otherwise I haven't really had any issues playing any other games on it. But I'm just am more concerned about battery life on it. And that was a big thing too with the Nintendo Switch too. It seems like it ended up having a little less battery life than, well, the original Nintendo Switch was like that too, where it didn't really have a ton until they came out with a new version of it. But I'm curious to see if this the new battery, which is more than likely going to be the 80 watt hour battery versus the 40 watt hour battery the original ASUS ROG Ally has, to see if that's going to be a large scale improvement. PSP vibe. Yeah, it does give you the PSP vibes. Looks like a big bro PSP with a PC power. Exactly. It's just like, you should see people's faces when I whipped it out, especially, let me see. I got it right here, actually. This case, I really do love it. It's very minimal. You can see that it's like, just like covered. Again, this is a company I'm not sponsored by or whatever. What was this company? They also make docks and everything. But once I figure out the name, I'll tell you what it is. I'll share it. But it has this cover, so you could easily just pop it off. Just like this. You'd pop it off from the bottom. And when you take it off, you have your actual console. And then on the back of it, it's protected. Pretty nice, right? Not bad. And I carried this through my book bag with no issue on my side pocket, because obviously I didn't want to take up room in my backpack, like with this ASUS ROG Ally. It has a little bit of weight. Only frustrating part is when you're going through the airport, is when you take out, you know, the part where you go through the whole, I know you guys know this, especially because especially when you travel to other countries, it can be a pain, is when you have to go through the whole security process, through where you got to take out your laptops, you got to take out your, of course, something like this. So I had like I always had like 4 or 5 bins. So, and these have to be separate. They can't be in a whole another one. And in fact, while I was at the airport, this is something what I got to share with you guys too, which is pretty funny. We had 3 large luggages, or 3 large luggages, where we had to bring on to the airport, where you obviously have to pay to get those on. But of course, even then, even though you pay for having something like luggage put onto the plane, you still had to pay. Even though you pay for it, it has weight limits. So the good thing is knowing how strict it is, especially when you're flying internationally. We had a scale with us, like one of those portable hand scales. So we had a good estimation of what it was. So originally flying from Taiwan to the US, no issues. For the most part, they didn't give us problems. So once we hit San Francisco, we went to we had United to fly back because it wasn't just one flight. We had to fly 2 flights because there's no direct flights from Florida to Taiwan. So while we were in California, which was our layover, we ended up weighing the packages, not the packages. We ended up weighing the luggage, and it ended up being like overweight for them. So we had to clean up our luggage to the point. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to just throw it in my backpack, and the one with the ASUS ROG Ally and everything in it. So some stuff I was able to throw into the backpack. Some other stuff we got rid of, which we really didn't need. And so once we got to the security checkpoint, and they ended up scanning the bag, I already had like at least 5 bins as it was. But then my bag ended up getting flagged. So we were standing there. We were already kind of like just like making it for the flight and everything too. And I'm standing there, and they're taking out my bag, and they're just taking out each item. So in my bag is not only the ASUS ROG Ally, the laptop and everything. That's all out already. But they had to end up taking out like my camera and each and every single component, because they said that when you have too much things packed up into like one pocket, because I have like a camera bag. So on the top pocket, it was like full of just like all this stuff that was like from our luggage. And they said sometimes when you have all these electronics put together, it's going to make it look like something what it's not. Practically, it's going to look like something like a bomb or something. So so they had to end up like dismantling like everything that I had from the top pocket. So I had to sit and wait for them to scan all those items through, and then finally was able to go and continue on my flight. So the whole point is, don't stuff too many electronics into one pocket. It doesn't look good. So, I mean, a handheld PC is nice, but I don't see the benefits at the end, because the size is going to be more to the laptop size. So you can basically buy a laptop in the end. I agree. That's one of the things I was debating on. And I'm sure if you guys have known, my wife, she actually has the ASUS, she has the ASUS ROG Zephyrus. Not the Zephyrus, she has the ASUS ROG Strix. And a great laptop, but she doesn't. The funny thing is, she has a gaming laptop, but she doesn't use it for any type of gaming or anything like that. But because of the type of usage that I need it for editing and everything, I figured the Zephyrus would be great. Only thing that stopped me from keeping the Zephyrus over the whole MacBook is because the MacBook has a much longer editing battery life. I can say I can edit on it for 5 to 6 hours compared to the ASUS, where I can only get like hour and a half out of it. But I'm just hoping soon. I'm hoping very soon that they can manage to get better battery life out of a Windows laptop. And if they can do that, especially because I know the components are going to be a lot different. You practically have a laptop that's just going for, I'm just using the MacBook for example. For the MacBook, you know that it's only using one processor, which is also going to be practically integrated, ARM processor integrated with GPU and the CPU and the RAM, and that's why you get much better battery life over something that is still nothing is truly integrated when it comes to Windows hardware just quite yet. But soon that can change, and I am hoping that either NVIDIA or AMD does do something like that, where they do have practically like an ARM processor, which was something NVIDIA has been working on. I know for sure. Not sure if AMD is working on it on their side, but if they do, that would be certainly a major killer. Then you have something. Then I would have something I can edit and I can play on top of it. Yeah, I get what you're saying. I felt the same exact way as you did. What's up, Zeno? Good to see you. I'm glad to certainly be back. Yeah, I'm not a fan of it. It's I use it personally. I just need it for work purposes. That's it. I would much rather game on. I would much rather bring a gaming laptop with me. I really wanted to have these Zephyrus for the most part, but I know that this change will be coming soon, and I'm sure that NVIDIA will manage to do so. Only thing is, if say NVIDIA does this, I wonder if it's going to pique their interest on making GPUs. I'm not GPUs, CPUs, desktop CPUs, because that's something that's always has been rumored that they would build desktop CPUs. I'm sure you guys remember even back then, like when they had the motherboards. Motherboards were you had to make sure you had an enforce motherboard, which was NVIDIA, and their motherboards were the best especially when it came to LAN parties. It's a shame. It's a shame that NVIDIA doesn't give that whole gamer feel like they used to. Now NVIDIA kind of feels more corporate than anything compared to what they felt like back then. As you guys know, back then it just felt like they were just like for the gamers, and everything that they created, such as their collaboration. Because one of the first PC builds that I actually had was a Gigabyte with Enforce, which was an amazing PC that I had. And it was with an AMD Athlon 64. And I think it was a 3800. It was. I think it was the 3800, but it was 3.8 gigahertz. It was just a single core, but it was fast. It was amazing, that PC. And I think I had and the graphics card wise, I had the GTX 680, I think it was. But it was an amazing PC. Now, AMD feels exactly that. It certainly feels like that. It does feel like AMD is more for the gamers now. Once companies go corporate, there is no going back. Too much politics. That's exactly what it is now. Like for NVIDIA, it's practically they have to get into the hands of politics in order to get big as they are. I mean, they're pretty much a $4 trillion company. I can't complain. I know everyone who is invested into NVIDIA, I'm sure, is happy and it's great for them. But the only bad thing, again, it affects us in the long run when we are trying to be on the consumer side of it. And I'm curious, do you think it's possible that NVIDIA could end up branching it off? Like they practically did, I mean, sort of. But like the whole NVIDIA GeForce, just branching that off like strictly into its 100% completely on its own division. NVIDIA just focuses on the whole, because they're really laser focused on the whole AI industry for the most part. The news on Intel is, yeah, I do agree. I've heard some negative, really negative news with Intel as well. And because they're saying that they're not really truly trying to improve. And that is a large problem. Intel really needs to become better. Originally, remember how they were supposed to focus on to the 18A and how it was supposed to be truly competitive against AMD's even 2nm nodes, which is kind of hard to believe. But again, Intel's good at telling stories, though. I got to say that. They're good at hyping you up. I was hyped up for this generation, not this generation. Well, technically it's this generation, but I was hyped up for the Z890s because I expected to see something fresh, something new, something innovative, almost even. Because even the Z690, when they first came out originally, it was more impressive because they actually had PCI Express 5, they introduced DDR5, that it seemed like that they were going into the right direction, but somehow it's like that. It seems like right when they're going onto the top of the cliff, it's almost like that they have like a very they can't really get up that high, and then all of a sudden it's like this quick drop off. It's like they just jump off the cliff at that point. It's like they commit suicide each time. I just don't get it. Like they could do so much better, but they constantly hurt themselves. And they put themselves in a bad spot, especially when it comes. It just confuses me, like how can you get even you got somebody like Trump that said something to them, which is, I think, pretty funny, about their president, which says that he needs to be fired, which is kind of insane because he's just got in because apparently he feels like he's not competent enough. But it's just, it's Intel is just a hot mess, and hopefully they can get together and really become better, because they even spoke about skipping the 18A, going straight to 15, but then it would also cause the delay for their chipsets for this year, which is practically happening now, I think. And that's why they're coming out with new processors for the Z890s practically. Intel is now involved with politics, and that politics wishing the Intel CEO steps down. Yeah, exactly. It's funny. That just like as I mentioned. Same thing for me. Same thing for me. But yeah, Intel used to have its golden era. Remember when we all thought that Intel was king and thought there's no way AMD could take it down? I remember we can say like about, what was it? About 5 years ago, I think it was. 5 or 6 years. It's like about 5 or 6 years ago. That we would all say, maybe even longer. Are we really that old? But anyway, and it almost seemed like Intel was on top. AMD was almost unheard of at that point. It's almost like I remember just thinking back and asking, what happened to AMD? Like, it seems like it's Intel everything. It just seems like there's nobody talking about AMD. Like, does it even exist anymore? And one of the first places I was looking was, I remember I was checking the stock market and seeing that they still existed. But at the time, they were only like, I think it was like $15 a share or something like that. But I did see that they were still around. I still saw that they had products. It wasn't really much, but I think what really changed them a whole lot was once Lisa Su took over. She is an amazing person, I gotta say, for the most part. And she did awesome with AMD, and how she brought that company back from the dead. I mean, now it's like Intel's like practically digging themselves a grave at this point. Yes, exactly. AMD just showed off that, you know what, that was a big turning point for them for the most part. And because then when they showed that whole 3D V cache and how much of a game changer that was, that certainly piqued a lot of attention. And you know what else too? Is the fact that during the 9th generation it was. And they were talking about how they were making fun of AMD for a while, Intel. And during the whole 9th generation, they were saying that it's AMD's terrible because they glue their processes together, that they're not great. And it turns out that they were actually the ones gluing their processes together, which was the ironic part. And this happened between the whole, it wasn't the 8th and 9th, it was between the 9th and the 10th generation, and that there was no differences between the two. And it's like I almost want to go on a rant about Intel, because it's like, how can you F up the 15th generation, right? How can you mess that up? Like, the 15th generation now performs worse than the 14th gen. It's just because I get that they're trying to be more economical at that point. Like, they're trying to be more green, I guess. But again, it's hard to really be going green if you're using more power out of your processes. And it's just, again, they're a complete mess. They have this whole program that I'm sure you guys familiar with, which is that they you can direct certain cores. For example, they have the E cores and the P cores when it comes to Intel. And you can actually direct them to do, like, for example, for gaming. This is what the advantage is, like, when it comes to their processors. But the whole problem is, like, they wouldn't really need that software if they just used all the same cores. They didn't separate their E cores and their P cores. But again, Intel, I don't know what their plan is now at this point, because they're kind of jumping all over the place. But again, hopefully they can get it together. especially that they got their new Battle Mage GPU coming out. I would really love for them to perform better on that side, on the graphical side, because then we really need some balance in the GPU department. We really do. And it almost seems like the whole high-end AMD card, it's kind of, the talks have kind of like really died down. And maybe that's what AMD wants, because what they can do too is they can now develop in peace their high-end card, which would be nice to see. I think if we do see it, it will be sometime soon, because we're in August already. I wouldn't be surprised if they talked about it in November, and let's hope that they do come out with a 9090. So the era stopped when Intel started milking the LGA 1151 sockets with thousands of chipsets, and their way to say was 5 gigahertz. AMD is dominant in almost every sector of computers at this point. I agree, 100%. 100%. And can't wait to see the 16th gen is not better than the 15th gen, and then the CPUs are dying again, and you spend $1,600 to see nothing is working. And that's what pisses me off too, is the fact that it's what I really don't get about Intel too is it's almost more expensive to build those PCs compared to AMD. It makes absolutely no sense. They're charging more, but you're getting less value out of it. And that's the frustrating part of it. So I guess it would be, if they come out with this new generation, I wonder if they're going to keep the same naming scheme. So for example, we had the 265K this year. Not last year it would be. And then this year would be the 365K once it releases. Because again, we all know how Intel is. Do you remember how back then they used to do the whole TikTok phase? Which is, I'm not talking about the social app, but I'm talking about like how they used to say like it was that you would always want to get the tick. You wouldn't want to get the talk part of it. Meaning, like, for example, it would be, say, back then it would say the fourth generation was the tick part. The fifth generation was the talk. Sixth generation was the tick, and you know that was time to get it. And Intel ended up getting rid of that because that was actually they got rid of it because the new president didn't want it at the time. Anyway, the one that ended up getting fired practically, he got rid of that and came up with the whole marketing scheme when it came to the whole 265K, the 285K, and the whole naming scheme, which is completely different too, with the Ultra, with the black boxes. But it's almost like they really can't. It's almost like they don't know their market at this point. It's like, or they know it, but they just don't want to do it and prefers to mess up things themselves. Guys, when do you think the AM6 or Zen 6 will be? Kami, good. That's actually a good question. For AM6 to come out, it's not going to be a while. AM6 won't be out till, let's see, it's 24 now, 25, probably about 26, I would say. About 20, no, not 26, what am I saying? It's 2027, AM6 will be released. A reason being is because they will still be making a new processor for this generation, for Zen 5. And expect that new processor to be quite the beast. I've been already hearing great things about it. There's already rumors about 3DV, about having multi CCDs instead of just having just one, as most of the 3D cache processors are. So we'll see. It's going to be quite the difference once they come out, because it's going to be almost like a taste of what Zen 6 is not Zen 6, what AM6 will be, because the new processors will be practically Zen 6 once they release. 25, 24 now. yeah, I know. You see how where my head's at? My head's still lost. You know what the funny thing is? In what's interesting is, in Taiwan, the years are counted differently. So it's 2025 there. Don't get it wrong, but they also count. They have a different calendar there too, and right there it's over there it's 117. It would be, so it can be confusing. But expect Zen. You can expect Zen 6 to be coming out very soon, and that's something to be very excited about. And with Zen 6, again, you're going to have multi CCDs, and that I can see is going to be quite the difference maker. That will be certainly taken advantage of. Like when it comes to a lot of different games out there that are becoming more multi process, that will be great to have. Yeah. Yeah, forgive me, guys. My head's still asleep in a way. And you know what the worst part is? I know you guys know exactly what I mean too. Is the jet lag part. Like coming back was just terrible. Not only was my flight rough coming back from San Francisco to Florida, but the fact that during that whole flight it was late. It was a late flight, so it was like 8:55 I flew out. Was boarding actually. We didn't fly out till probably like 9:30, 10 o'clock. And then by the time we get to Florida, it's a 6-hour flight. So we got here like about almost like 5 o'clock in the morning. Our luggage then, and on top of it to make things worse, our luggage didn't come out till later because for some reason, right when we landed, there was like a torrential downpour. So we had to sit and wait for our luggage to be like put onto the luggage belt, which sucked. And we didn't end up getting out the airport till like 6. So we ended up staying up like throughout the most of the day and end up passing out like 6 or 7 o'clock in the evening and just like practically like sleeping through like into the next day because the time zones are just so different. Like especially when you come from someplace like Taiwan then over to the US, it's just weird. It's almost like you don't even lose. It's like almost that you gain an hour for some reason when you land into the US. But of course when you fly to somewhere like a place like Taiwan or anywhere in Asia really, you will end up losing a day practically. Yeah, jet lag is 100% no joke. Even in Morocco, where I'm originally from, they use Islamic calendar, and it's a whole different thing. Yeah, yeah, it's kind of a pain, like how that works. That's terrible. Also for me, waking you at 3 a.m. Yeah, yeah, that's the worst part. Is like the whole time difference, and the funny thing is like when people contact you, they don't realize the time difference, and they'll just say like they'll just text you or call you and thinking it's like the same time zone, and you're like, bruh, it's like a 12 hours difference, or it's like another like 9 hours difference depending on wherever they're from. It's just rough. But I think we're kind of getting pretty much acquainted to it once again. But it's funny too because it's like seeing even the way like how the weather is. It's just like completely different. But I gotta know. I know, but yeah, now it's good. Now it's all good. But how was I gotta ask Takuma, like everything was how was Japan? Everything was good. Everything was great. Hopefully you had a great time out there. Yeah, jet lag, man. The funny thing is, if you get a decent amount of sleep on the way, I feel like when you go on the way somewhere, you're fine. And I feel like maybe the whole mindset's different because you're going someplace you want to go and you don't get as much jet lag. But when you come back, and plus, again, I think it was mostly the flight that didn't really help. Um, then you end up getting hit with the jet lag. Ah, man, needed that water this morning. But yeah, so far on this side, it seems like everything has been great. We saw that there, and ironically too, like right when we flew out, there was a typhoon actually brewing, and but luckily it didn't hit that side of Taiwan where we were. We were mostly in Taipei. It seemed like it mostly hit the southern part, which was like towards like the more places like in Kaohsiung, or more like Hualien and toward those areas. It seemed like that's where the typhoon hit more. Usually the north doesn't really get hit too heavy because the north side of Taipei is practically like surrounded by mountains. So it's like, but it does rain a lot though in Taipei compared to other cities. So, what's this new Steam console? Oh, so Steam console. Yeah, this is the funny thing is Steam. This is nothing new that Steam has been trying to do. They've actually tried to come out with almost like a Steam console before, but it didn't do as well. If they do attempt this whole Steam console, this would be practically like their second attempt at it. I think they would have a decent chance at it, but I think more or so this has to do more with the whole Xbox side. I think it's going to be because right now Xbox is currently marketing Xbox as everything, right? Xbox is not only just the console, but it's your PC. It's going to be practically like the Steam console, or it's going to be like the new ASUS ROG Ally Xbox X. So it's going to be everywhere, and I think this is part of the new initiative for Xbox. Instead of just being one solely focused console, which it's also rumored that they may not even have a console after this, that they might just be spreading their focus into other things, such as, say, the Steam console, or such as the whole portable console with the Asus ROG Ally, and with like laptops. It's a possibility that they're more focused on more developing games than just hardware. So again, we'll see if Xbox sticks to it. But this is like part of their new initiative. If Steam does end up doing it, I would say that would be good on their part. It would be excellent on their part because now I feel Steam has much more recognition than it did before. People knew what Steam was before, but not like now. Steam Deck certainly has helped brought up its value, knowing that you're able to game most PC games on a Steam Deck. So, uh, very hot, but great time in Japan until one day we got a tsunami. We got, you know what's funny? We got that too. It was it during the whole when Russia got hit with their whole earthquake, and you got that tsunami warning. We ended up, luckily for us, we didn't get it. But I'm glad you had a great time, Takuma. I was worried for you at some point when you were in Taiwan. I saw the army start doing drills in the metro. Oh yeah, it's funny. We thought it wasn't this year, but it was last year when I was there that they end up doing the air raid drills, which is pretty insane. So we were stuck in the MRT, which is the metro. We were stuck there like for about an hour. But thanks for your concern. Don't worry, we're all perfectly good. Saw the family and was in Tokyo with a big bus tour, and then also in Kamakura was nice, beautiful. Sounds like you had an awesome time there. Uh, if I'll ever go to Japan during summertime, I'm going to go 2 weeks in Okinawa. Just for you know what's funny? That's what we talked about. My wife and I was talking about going to Okinawa. Probably not next year because we want to wait for. Well, as you know, our dog Jonah, he's of old age. He's at 13 years old now, and we want to spend some time with him until he passes. And when he does, we'll go back to our international travels. But that's actually one of the places that we want to go is Okinawa, because they also offer cruises even from Taiwan to over to Okinawa. Um, but that's exactly what we would love to do is do some of the swimming there. I heard the Steam is a collaboration with Xbox. That's exactly the reason. It would help me in the new console. It would be massive. I mean, heavy console, but not heavy device. Okinawa is my next destination. When oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, maybe it's Okinawa has some really beautiful I know like really beautiful places to go to for sure. Uh, but I would love to again eat some fresh seafood. That's the best part when you go back to when you go to places back into like places like Taiwan, Japan, or in Korea and any of those areas. You know that the seafood is just like top notch. And you know, and the crazy part is you don't have to pay an arm and a leg for it. And you know what the crazy part is, and one of the biggest culture shocks too is like when you come back from paying for everything that is not as expensive there compared to the U.S. Because just like again when we got back, my wife and I went to over to a cafe, and we just wanted a salad because that's all we wanted, and we ended up looking up a place. We went to a place called a Green Cafe. It's funny because nobody ever hears of this place, but we just ended up going anyway. And so we ended up going there. They didn't have salads, but they had a cold bar. You can select the different food you have, and then they weigh it. So we selected our food. She ended up getting a smoothie. I ended up getting a coffee. And in the end, it ended up being $66 just for the two of us, which is insane. It's just two plates. And but when you really think about it, it's what $20 a plate. And so it's $40 and then plus the smoothie, which is 50, plus my coffee, which is $5, and then tax. So it's like well, closely it should be like technically around like 60, but it's crazy to think that's like normal. You know what I mean? Compared to something that you would pay in a place like in Japan or Taiwan, it's just you get so much more value out of the food compared to what you get out of the US. I know, it's insane, right? It's freaking insane. It's expensive. So it's I don't think we're going to that cold bar ever again though. I'll tell you that. We much rather go someplace else. We spent $60 for food. Yeah, that exactly. And you know what I really miss is and in Japan, this is one of the things I miss is eating not just the ramen, but I really enjoy soba noodles and onigiri a lot. That's like my top food that I go to if I'm in Japan. And Taiwan, I would also, of course, seafood too. I love the mackerel in Japan. It's excellent, I gotta say. Also, when I'm in Taiwan, I just gotta eat my beef noodle soup. That is my beef noodle, which is the top, and then of course I gotta have my xiaolong bao, which is like a dumpling, kind of like a dumpling, practically, but it's like a with it has like soup in it, which is really good. But again, it's just I definitely miss the food side of it there. I miss Korean barbecue or what the Japanese say, yakiniku. Oh yeah, that you know what I really love about Japan too. This is something I forgot to mention is the izakayas. That's my go-to, also as well. Izakayas are the spot. Um, have you ever tried Mexican food in which we get a green sauce of guacamole? Oh yeah, definitely. So I gotta say, I am in Florida, so I definitely get plenty of Spanish food here. Of course, the Mexican culture isn't as big as it is, but we do have it, and there's a lot of Cuban food we have in Florida. So we also have Lay's, things, dips, and eats. I saw the food in many animations, especially the Minions. Switzerland is so dull. Oh, it's what's the? I gotta ask. I'm curious. What is the guacamole? I gotta ask. What is the top food? I gotta say in Switzerland, out of curiosity, because I would always imagine it as like they would have like some sort of what is it? It's hard for me to imagine what they have in Switzerland. I would have, because I know in Iceland and everything, what they do is like they actually eat the little, what do you call those birds? But they actually eat the little penguins there. I didn't even know it was called like they call it fly fishing, which is insane. I didn't even know that was like a big dish there. Thanks, Wasabi. Yeah, guacamole's excellent. Guacamole. Um, and but they have what is that? It begins with a P though. It's like penguin, but it's actually called. Let me just find this real quick. I'll share it with you guys. Let me see. Oh wait, I just realized that. It's funny too. What is it? Fly fishing. You might find this disturbing. Fly fishing. They called it something else. Maybe it's not that. Fishing. Ah, what is that fish? Not fish. It's not a fish. I can't think of the name of them. All right, let me just share this with you guys. So I'm going to switch over here. Iceland's gonna eat smoked fish and other fish dishes. I kind of figured that. I figured it was like kind of like fish. Let me see. Ah, okay. There we go. There we go. Oh, now I just realized my vertical's up now. Oh, then finally it's up. It seemed like they were having issues. So in Iceland. But it was some sort of, I can't think of the bird. It's a bird that they also have too. Sheep's head. That's interesting. Smoked lamb. Icelandic fish. I'm an Indian. The most delicious food ever in my life is biryani and naan. I do like naan though. Naan is amazing. I don't know whether it's popular in other countries. I think it's popular in some countries. There's some food that I know for sure that I do like on the Indian food side. Tandoori chicken is really good. Tandoori chicken, and I do enjoy the naan bread because of all the different sauces and everything. Watch it come to me. Puffins, exact. Yes, thank you, Wasabi. Thank you. Yes, puffins. I was trying to think, what is the name of that bird? They actually fish for them, puffin fishing. I gotta show you. No, it's not showing it. Sky netting. I think they call it sky netting, right? Sky netting. I forget what they call it. And they've been doing it for years, and I guess... There it is. There's a good picture of it. Look at this guy. He caught a puffin. That's exactly what I meant. Pretty wild, right? Right there. Yeah, it's a shame. It's pretty insane, right? I had no idea that that was a thing, but apparently that's a dish. So in Switzerland, they have molten. That sounds pretty good, right? Molten slices of cheese on potatoes, fondue, and we do have roasted potato pancakes. Oh, that's interesting. Similar to the dodo, the Portuguese. Yeah, it kind of does. Um, it's it's crazy too because with dodos that they're actually trying to actually bring them back from extinction by like cloning them. But yeah, it's pretty wild. Apparently, some places actually offer dishes with this, but I had no idea that was a big thing. And let me get back onto the tech top. It's funny, we ended up talking about food. Maybe we're just all hungry here. But on the tech topic, here we go. Intel Core Ultra 7 254 volts spotted on Passmark. So there they go, purposely leaking stuff out again. Excuse me. Oh, you live in Italy? Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, you know, the funny thing is, that's one of the next places we want to visit too, is Italy. We want to visit towards the whole European area too. We want to land in Rome and kind of travel through Europe, do like a Euro trip practically. But we were deciding on whether to go the east side of Europe or west of Europe. What would you recommend for the most part? The Dracula parrot. That sounds interesting. Good to see you, Sanchez. I'm glad to see you here. The Dracula parrot. That's interesting. Is it wrong to have it? Not necessarily. I mean, you can have an Intel CPU. It's still, like I said, it's, even though it does have a lot of negativity with it, it still does perform well. Like when you use it for gaming or use it for, if you use it for Photoshop, it's great. You use it for Premiere, it's awesome. But the problem with Intel, this is the big beef with Intel currently, is the fact that longevity of their chipsets almost seem non-existent. Because once you purchase it, you're going to have to keep that processor for that lifetime that you use it. Meaning that if you get a 265K, more than likely that's a processor you're going to have to stick with for at least 5 or 6 years, because you can't really expect anything new unless you swap out the whole motherboard and processor, which is a real negative side of Intel. And that they just don't perform as well, unfortunately, as AMD when it comes on the gaming aspect. But again, Intel isn't bad. They still work great. You still can game. You can get plenty of games out of it, no problem. But I always highly recommend AMD when it comes to the processes. Depends on the summertime. They're both beautiful sides. It's up to you, you and your wife. You can visit the Balkanian countries or France, Spain, and Portugal. It's funny. I've heard so many mixed things about France too. As you can let me know what you guys think of it too. Is that I've always heard that I've known people that visited France, and maybe it's specifically because of Paris, like people who visit Paris or went to Paris. They said there was only one person that I really heard that said something positive about going there, and mostly everyone else that I spoke to said negative things about it. Even though that somebody I know that speaks French went there, and they still refused to speak to them in French, maybe because they had some sort of accents or whatever. And I heard that they don't treat people as well there, but I don't know if that's just talk or if how true that is. What do you think of that? In Gifu, I ate fish where they had traditional fishing at the Niagara River, where they using cormorants to fishing. Oh, that sounds awesome. I always, you can't ever get enough of fresh seafood. That's always the best. There's nothing like it. It's funny too, because when we were over on the mountainsides of Hualien, they had shrimp there, like a fresh shrimp, and one of the guys we know, we call him Xiaohei, little black it means, and he has there was that shrimp, and he's like, yeah, just take it out the water, take it out the creek. He's just like, just break it apart and eat it because it's nice and fresh. And my wife refuses to do something like that, even though she's also Taiwanese as well. But I hopefully you guys enjoyed this stream. Hopefully next time it's not as turbulent. It seems like I got some stuff to fix on OBS for some weird reason, as I'm missing even my logo here. Maybe I'll redesign it or something. But I'm glad at least the it seems like our chat is working and everything too. But again, well, fishing is a tradition now over 1,300 years old, and we're still doing it. Absolutely. That's one thing that is never going to die down for sure is fishing. So I appreciate you guys for joining in onto the stream. I apologize for the very turbulent the very turbulent morning that we had during stream. And there are some things that looks like I gotta fix within OBS. But I do appreciate you guys coming in. And we will certainly stream again soon. Maybe, and I'll let you know exactly when. We'll stream as scheduled as usual. And if there's any upcoming streams, make sure to join Discord to find out. And again, feel free to ask any questions. Surprisingly, there wasn't too many questions today. Yeah, no, it's kind of, we kind of like went way off there. It's kind of turned into more of a just chill type of stream today. Just hang out and talk BS, right? So again, I appreciate everybody for coming in. Yeah, I'm surprised there wasn't really too many technical questions today. But yeah, next time we'll make sure to stay on topic. We're just having fun here. Hopefully you enjoyed it, had fun talking with us as well. And thanks again so much for joining in. And hopefully I see you soon. And let me find the link for you guys for the Discord, because I'm not gonna put in that command because I know that command kind of gives you off, gives like a weird. Let me see. Right here. And I'll paste it here. And that is the Discord, guys. Did it let me send it? That's weird. I sent the link, but let me try it again. Did you get flooded with how people started? Yeah, that's... You know what's funny? I was thinking, like, I should have just made a video on that. And I did get a few phone calls about it, but... They're good, and that's one of the guys. Okay, for sure. And I'll talk to you guys and see you guys soon. And let me try sending this. For some reason, it won't let me send this whole... Are you guys getting the invite for Discord? Because it seems like it's not. Let me try it. Let me try this other one here. Wonder why it didn't let me send the link in. Let's see, chat. I'll send it through here instead. I'll see you guys soon. Here. There we go. Now, okay, now it sent it. For some reason, it doesn't let me send it on social stream, but it lets me send it through here. There we go. Perfect. See you guys soon, and thanks so much for coming in.